From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings Lalate.
It's a big morning of Mornings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021, direct and live from Santa Monica, California. In this incredible recording, we go over the breaking news as a vote will be happening in your recon this coming week in no less than potentially 48 hours. We'll go over the incredible deal as the vote will be solidified in the absence of a Congressional Budget Office report per the agreement of the Democrats, and we will be done with the incredible House of Representatives and a bill that'll pay you about $15,000 across all these incredible clusters of checks. I'll show you how to get this incredible money in this recording, and then we'll be turning back over to third stimulus that pays you on average about $45,000. You can get that money right now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. I'm going to show you how to go into this weekend with upwards of $80,000 in your hand as well. Student loan debt forgiveness, more debt can be forgiven across the board. I have the latest details in this recording. And then we go to fifth stimulus. Definitely needed with that COLA raise of 5.9% coming in January, but you need more than that. That's the COLA raise, but then you need fifth stimulus right behind it as well. It's a big, bold, beautiful morning. I'm live with you from Santa Monica. I'm ramped up, I'm amped up, I'm ready to rock and roll, and you should be ready to get all these big sums of money available today under third stimulus, $45,000 of it, and then get ready for fourth stimulus that'll pay you at least $15,000 to start. You found the channel, you found the recording, you found the bacon. Oh, you didn't. Surprise, surprise. It was going good until we got to the bacon. But other than that, we got all the incredible money you can get right now, and it starts right now on Mornings Lalate. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And here we go. A vote we have happening on that reconciliation budget bill on the House side as early as Monday, and we will be done with the House. The vote is set, and that vote will happen despite whether they have a Congressional Budget Office report ready or not. I have the latest details in this recording. We'll be turning over to the incredible checks, many of them, in this fourth stimulus recon, all for you and the American people. That'll pay you about $15,000 across all these incredible clusters of checks. But then we'll be turning back over to third stimulus that's still paying out on average about $45,000. This is money right now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. I'm going to show you how to get that incredible sums of money, how you can go into this weekend with potentially $80,000 in your hand you didn't start the week with. Student loan debt forgiveness, more debt could be forgiven across the board. It's covered in this recording. By executive order, it could. And then a fifth stimulus, you need it. It's coming in January because COLA benefits comes first, 5.9%. We got that and more in a big, bold, beautiful recording. We are live on air. We're going to get a lot of money, and the money is available right now. And this, my friends, is LA, America's most talked about financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Boy, we got a big slate of programming for you today, but we also have big sums of money. $45,000, a third stimulus is being paid out on average to viewers of this channel. Across all these incredible programs, a third stimulus right now. It's law. It has been law for several months. And if you haven't gotten that money, if you haven't gotten a check from third stimulus this week, it's going to change with this recording. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record, and 140 million views. As you're also going to learn in this video, the big money under fourth stimulus that'll pay you on average about $15,000. Like this video and consider becoming a member. Let's go over what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to cover what is this big sums of money under fourth stimulus, $15,000 of it to start. We're going to go over the incredible vote that will happen as early as Monday to finish this on the House side. We'll be touching back over to third stimulus that is still paying out absolutely enormous sums of money, on average $45,000 to viewers of this channel. I'm going to show you how to get this money. If you haven't gotten it before, you're going to get it today. If you got it before, you're going to get more of it. You're going to see how to get that money today to pay your bills right today. I'm excited for you, and I'm excited you found me, and we're going to start right now with the fourth stimulus. Fourth stimulus has many checks across its programs. Checks that pay you. Checks for all walks of life, including seniors, people that don't have children, all those clusters of checks pay on average to this viewers this channel about $15,000. I'm going to show you how to get these incredible clusters of checks broadly first. Let's go over broadly each of them. 3 clusters, 3 separate clusters of checks. Let's start with the first one. When I say front end, it means the front end check. If I say back end, it means you have to do something to receive it. Here we go. Elder care, $4,000 front end check. And then $4,000 of care for young children, front end check. Hazard pay, back end check for essential workers. 1 more year of it. They got the $550 check for my college students, front end. For the Pels grant, they got the big, wonderful home repairs. If you live in a low-income community, home repairs, front-end check. They got the CTC, the child tax credit for the children, $3,600 per year, 1 more year, front-end check. And then they got the wonderful back-end check, $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, union shop. Well, there you go. That is the first cluster. Let's go to the first add-on, and it is one of the most popular checks in this 4 stimulus recon, and it is the money for the purchase of your first home. Wow, that is exciting. $25,000. That was the number Maxine Waters wanted for her provision. She got the provision in there, but they're bringing the number down a little bit, and it's wonderful. Want to learn how to get it? Stay with me. I'm covering that and all these other checks one at a time. Details coming up later in this video. Home repairs and paid leave are on the second cluster of checks. Let's look at them. Paid leave got in there. This is a front end check, pays thousands of dollars. We got in there the home repairs, got that, and that is in there as well, front end. Pre-kindergarten, front end, and they got in there also the household tax credits, back end. You definitely need that weatherizing your check because the holiday season. And you know what the holiday season means? You have things coming to the door like carolers, holiday gifts, and Mitch dressed up as a lobster. He has to get those campaign donations going, don't you think? So you got to weatherize your home quickly to make sure all the lobsters stay out. Let's go to the second add-on of checks, and that comes from Bob Casey, the wonderful senator from Pennsylvania. And it's a huge, wonderful benefit. It's not a check, but it's a benefit. And it is the home health care, totally free for my people who are on disabilities and my seniors. Bob Casey wanted $250. He got a number a little bit less. It's wonderful. They got it in there. Let's go to the third clusters of checks, and let's see the status of those. Oh, I'm so excited. You feel excited? I am. Here we go. Free school meals for all. Checks, front end, got it in there. Prescription medication benefit got in there. Immigration form got it in there. Farmers don't know. Clean the free internet, believed to get in there. Clean energy out. Workers, independent contractors, and then the Medicare expansion. Oh boy, there's a lot without a Medicare expansion. So they got in there the hearing and the Medicaid gap states. They're taking care of on the Senate side the vision, the dental, and the lowering the eligibility age of Medicare. Which brings us to our third add-on, and that third add-on is multiple or monthly IRS stimulus checks, MSC. A lot of opportunities to get it done. It's always a Senate play, and they're the 6 senators who have told thousands of viewers over the last few weeks they're putting it in there. Those 6 senators are Casey Coons, Sanders Schumer, Warren Wyden, the 2 C's, the 2 S's, and the 2 W's. 2 opportunities. First, the Senate subcommittee. Senators are going to say later in this video that they have a lot to do with this recon. They want to add a lot of other checks in there on top of $15,000 to you. So that's why it would likely go to a Senate subcommittee. Also, Senate Votorama, a 2-day event at which the senators receive the House bill and then introduce changes. That Votorama is critical because guess what? It has been hideously important historically to add great provisions for you over the years. Under third stimulus earlier this year, Liz Warren and Chuck Schumer got into Votorama and done by Votorama the forgiveness, the tax forgiveness of student loan debt forgiveness, or the non-taxable event of student loan debt forgiveness. Why was this big? Because $20,000 of student loan debt forgiven is a $10,000 check you have to pay to IRS, and you don't have that money. They got it done. And there you go. Let's read that incredible statement of advocacy on air that we need to follow by. It comes from the number 1 legislator to us. His chief of staff says this statement. In total, between the congressional senators' offices, they received more contacts of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures. Everyone's amazed by the outpouring of touching stories. Now they have a better understanding of what Americans are going through because of this pandemic. They have heartbreaking stories, and you, Lalate, because you have become too loud to be ignored, as you have become the voice of the people across the nation. Let's read the last sentence on air because it concerns us. The last sentence says, please continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy. As the professional voice of the people, you have become and continue until this becomes law. Absolutely. You need to advocate because we're coming out of the House next week, going over the Senate. We see that finish line in front of us, but the senators, they're those 6 that you need to advocate with us. In the second half of this video, we have a lot coming up. $45,000 of hard, cold cash checks you could be getting this week. Did you get any of them? I'll go over how to get the big sums of money from third stimulus they're still paying across the board. Third stimulus is overlapping with fourth stimulus because the same programs are repeating themselves. And that House bill will be going to a final vote within 48 hours. And that final vote will solidify that the House bill is done. The vote is happening despite whether or not they have a Congressional Budget Office report. And with that incredible vote, that means you'll get $15,000 across 4 stimulus. But you ain't going to wait for 4 stimulus because I'm going to show you how to get upwards of $45,000, well, on average $45,000, upwards of $100,000 under third stimulus right today. We got all those incredible sums of money. Then we go over student loan debt forgiveness, and then we cut to fifth stimulus, which is next year. That'll help my people on seniors and people on disabilities. We got a lot of money. Get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to show you how to get thousands of dollars of money right now to pay your bills. It's a huge broadcast. I'm excited you're here. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as the heat is on as we go into the big finality on the House with that recon. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now on a Big Mornings Lalate. I'm excited you're here, and thank you for the super chat from Kathy. I really appreciate it. It's a purple hair super chat. I appreciate that. In the second half of this video, the House bill will be done in less than 48 hours. We're going to be starting within 48 hours. The vote could happen as early as Monday, and away we go off to the Senate. This is very exciting. This is despite whether the Congressional Budget Office report is done. I'll have the latest details. These checks are going to pay you about $15,000 across all these incredible classes of checks. Do you have the pen and paper ready? You need to learn how to get these checks. It's big money, and it's big money for you. We'll be turning over to fourth stimulus and back over to third stimulus. That pays you on average about $45,000 as well. We got a lot of money in the second half. Then student loan debt forgiveness by executive order, and then we turn to fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus is the step up of benefits you need because COLA's coming in at 5.9%. Those details and more as we go into a big second half of this recording. I'm excited you're here. And this, my friends, is Lalate, America's most talked about financial news channel. Live in the morning like right now and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is noontime at 11 a.m. Then we go into 1 o'clock afternoons and then a big new afternoons Lalate at 3 o'clock. So subscribe, like the video, and consider becoming a member. And here we go with the incredible recon vote. The reconciliation budget bill currently in the House will go for a final vote as early as Monday, but as late as Friday. That vote was happening because the reconciliation budget bill deal done by Nancy Pelosi is being upheld. When asked about it during an appearance during a climate conference in Scotland, Nancy Pelosi confirmed that the recon will pass the House of Representatives this week. This is pursuant to an agreement she reached with the moderate Democrats 2 weeks ago. That vote is happening despite the language saying that they wanted a Congressional Budget Office report. They will not have that report done by next week. But no worries, because the agreement said no later than the week of November 15th, and away we go. The vote could happen on Monday, but you know how Nancy is. She loves her Thursday night at 11 o'clock. The incredible details is that this recon pays you on average about $15,000 across all these clusters of checks. If you're a viewer of this channel, if you're a Purple Hawk, you need that pen, you need that paper, you need to be writing down every program. You need to listen to the program, how it pays, because many of the programs are first come, first serve. Hawk, hawk, and you want to get the money. You can't be focusing on one program and only one program. You need to focus on all of them. And we're going to start with the first one with a new approach to the first program in this channel and this recording. And it is paid leave. Paid leave is you have to stay home from work because of sickness, illness, or death, or pregnancy, a birth of a person in your household. Now, what's new on this recording today is that normally when you think about paid leave or medical leave, you think about a worker, and you may be retired. But here's the catch. Let's say you're a senior and you live at home with your son or daughter and they work and they're taking off time for work to take you to an eye exam for a full day. Guess what? This helps your entire household. So this is why you have to stay in focus. Let's say you are being taken to a medical procedure. There's a countless viewers who are in the live chats daily saying, I'm going to a medical procedure. If your son and daughter is taking off from work to take you to the medical procedure, he or she is now going to get paid. Yes. So this helps the whole household. It may not help you directly if you're not working, but it will help your son and daughter if they're taking off time for work. So how much does it pay? A fortune. It was proposed at $1,700 a week if your son or daughter or if the person makes $80,000 or more per year. But let's look at middle income levels. $35,000 annual salary, that would be $800 a week. A week. That's a lot of money. $15,000 annual salary, $400 a week. So let's look at how many weeks. Up to 4 weeks per year. Wow. So let's say you have the flu and your son and daughter has to stay home for a week or 2 weeks because of it. Or you broke your leg and your daughter has to stay home for 2 weeks to take care of you. This is an enormous sum of money. What's great is the eligibility. All income levels, all working levels. So if it's a W-2, if it's 1099, covered. If you make $20,000 or you make $120,000, it's covered. And there you go. 4 weeks at $1,700 is $6,000. Yes, that's a lot of money for your household. And then on the low end, the $400 a week times 4 weeks, that's $1,600. A lot of money. The second add-on that went into this incredible recon is SALT. And SALT is the deduction on the federal tax return of what you pay in state taxes. Now, what's fascinating about this provision is that it is really helpful in states like New York and New Jersey where people pay a lot in taxes. Let's say you pay $15,000 in taxes in your state. Well, under the 2017 tax code under Trump, you cannot deduct more than $10,000. Now you'll be able, under this recon, to deduct up to $72,500 of what you pay in state and local taxes. It's incredible. Then they got $40 billion in job trainings, free job trainings. And you can see later in fifth stimulus in this recording, is that if you're on benefits and you want to just go back to work just part-time because you're sort of bored at home, now you can get free job trainings, $40 billion of it. It's incredible. Here comes that Medicaid gap fix. When Obamacare was rolled out, 12 Republican governor states offered it but refused to pay for it. So now they got the workaround plan in this recon. 12 holdout states will have a workaround plan where they'll have years of subsidized private insurance for low-income people in those states that could not afford insurance. It's incredible. Immigration reform is in the recon. That's not a check, it's reform. And then that brings us to housing. And that also brings us back to third stimulus. In the fourth stimulus recon, the proposed legislation, there's $150 million for housing. Under third stimulus, there was $47 billion for housing. What's going on here? All the programs that are in fourth stimulus for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and similar items like that are currently law under third stimulus. So here comes a new part of this channel starting today, tough love. I've done tough love before on this channel. I did it in the summer where people I told had to do certain things to get the money. If they didn't do the things, they're not going to get the money. Here comes the tough love right now. I've seen some people in some of the comments that say, I need fourth stimulus to pass right away because I need it for my rent. I need it to pass because I need to pay my mortgage. I need it because I can't pay the heating oil bill. And that caused a red alarm. Why did it cause a red alarm? Because that money is available right now under a law that was passed earlier this year called third stimulus. And that money I've been showing people how to get for over a year. So here comes a tough love moment. If you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, SNAP, food, clothing, small appliances, small repairs, get it right now, and I'll show you how to get it right now. Yes, it's repeated under fourth stimulus, but you don't want to wait for fourth stimulus because it's available under third stimulus. First, let's start with the rent. It was a year ago this month where I was detailing second stimulus, and second stimulus had a little bit of money for rent. And I said, I want you to learn and get this money because the holiday season, it's going to get cold. Rent is going to go up. Heating oil is going to go up. Heating oil this week, we learned, compared to a year before, is up 59%. As it gets colder, you're going to need this heating oil. And that is why you want to get these sums of money. Let's first start with the rent. Here we go. The rent. Several months ago, these were the numbers of rent that people were getting from this channel from third stimulus. The numbers for rent have actually gone higher and are still being paid. Third stimulus is paying rent on average $20,000 to $27,000 several months ago, but the viewers of this channel have gotten on average about $40,000 for rent. If you got rent earlier this year, you can get it again. I've had viewers who got rent last year, then the spring, then in the fall, and then can get it again in the winter. You can continue to get rounds of rent. Where do you get it? 6 places. Here are the 6 places you reach out to. They are featured in the newsletter for the members, but here are the 6 places. Your city hall, your city house authority. Your county hall, your county house authority. Your state hall, and your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. It helps if you read the newsletter that features the statement from Treasury about the new $13 billion cash infusion for rent. They all have the money, number one. And number 2, you are eligible. Everyone is eligible for this money. You do not have to be behind in rent. You do not have to have suffered COVID issues. You do not have to have a COVID environment. You qualify for this money. You need to make more than 1 phone call. You need to make 6 phone calls, upwards of 11. And I'll show you why 5 more in a second. It's the nonprofits. Get that money for rent. And I have countless viewers on this list like Mark who have gone back and gotten more rent. Mark's at $40,000 of rent. All right, now we come to utilities. You know, I've been covering this since last year, but I've been covering it a lot during the summer. It's not cold yet. It's going to get cold. Heating oil went up 59% year to date based upon the new consumer price index number on inflation released this week. So imagine how much your heating oil is going to be in about a month from now. You want to get all your utilities paid up. Mark, you see on this list is $6,500. He went back and got more utilities. He got an additional $21,000 of utilities since this graphic 2 months ago. So you want to get all your utilities paid for. Water, oil, heating oil, gas, electric, telephone, internet. You want to get all those bills paid for right now. If you got them paid for before, you can get more money as well. I've had viewers in the chat saying, we need fourth stimulus to come right away because I have no money for food. That makes no sense. Because SNAP is available under third stimulus. And SNAP is not tied to any stimulus package, but really heated up under third stimulus. The biggest legacy of this channel will be SNAP, because I've gotten more people more money on more items than anything else, I think, than SNAP. What is SNAP? It's money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is easy on the stimulus check. These were the graphics 2 months ago, 3 months ago. The viewers in the channel are averaging about $25,000 per year on Snap. Snap went up 25% last month. And yes, I now have Mark's brother-in-law getting $25,000 per year. He will get $250,000 over the next 10 years because of this channel. Then you want to get the sums of money from multiple places. And what those multiple places mean is that you don't want to just get one check and stop. You want to get 3 or 4 checks across the board. Here are people who got multiple items. Here is Lorraine, who got $105,000. It's now $120,000. Mark was at $50,000. He's now at far over $100,000. What's important to understand is when you look at this money, the money from third stimulus, it averages about $45,000. It's not one phone call. It's several phone calls. And that money is available right now. Now, you may hear the same programs under third stimulus repeated under fourth stimulus. So that means you do not want to wait for fourth stimulus to become a law to get it, because they're already law under third stimulus as well. Meaning you can get it under third stimulus now, get that money, and when fourth stimulus becomes law, get it again. That's how it works. All right, let's go over the other items that are in that housing for stimulus, and those other housing provisions are weatherizing your home. Not a low-income home, all weatherizing your home. So things like fire and hurricane. Then the home repairs, you live in a low-income community, yes, that's likely a front-end check, a grant. We don't know details about that yet. That's things like the roof. And then we have the purchase price of your first home. Great questions. I said to the viewers of this channel, send me your complex questions across the board. And you have. When we talk about those first-time home purchases, it's a home, single-family home. I don't believe it has to be brick and mortar, and we believe it's first for you, not first in general. There you go. Well, in-home healthcare, $150 billion for my seniors and persons on disabilities in this fourth stimulus recon. Then we have tuition, $550 checks to my current Pell Grant recipients. Now, it can go up, it will not go retro to people who have been on Pell before in previous years. Here we go. Purchase price of a new electric vehicle, $12,500. It's a back-end check. For purchase of a new electric vehicle in a union shop, I get a lot of questions about this. It's electric, not hybrid. And it's U.S. That's Chrysler, Ford, GM, and all their subsidiaries. So like Cadillac, Jeep, GMC. For example, the Bolt is a $30,000 car, brand new, and this credit would go up to $12,500. Then they got $65 per check per month for those students when they're not in school. One of the wonderful provisions of the credible recon is the cheaper prescription medication. And that cheaper prescription medication happens overnight when this becomes law. What's at issue? When Medicare was rolled out 20 years ago, Medicare's establishment said they cannot negotiate prices of medication. So for 20 years, Big Pharma had 15 paid lobbyists to keep the status quo until 2 Wednesdays ago. And 2 Wednesdays ago, the President of the United States does what he does best. He picked up the phone and advocated with Kristen Sinema saying, you need to do this. And she said, yes. Bless the entire recon, bless this provision. And here we go. What's happening? The minute this becomes law overnight, 20 medications will be dramatically cheaper due to good faith negotiations happening instantly between Medicare and Big Pharma. This is the most expensive medications, like diabetes, arthritis, and cancer. Case in point. I asked viewers on this show a week ago today, how much are you paying for insulin if you're on Medicare? And I heard answers of $700 all the way up to Mark's wife, $900 a dose. It will now be $35. This is why Ron Wyden says it's a game changer. Chuck Schumer says, get ready for next year. We're going to do more of this. And then we had great comments like Peter says, it's huge for seniors. And we have praises from Menendez and Carper as well. Breaking news on this morning's Lalate right now is that when this House bill heads over to the Senate, we are likely to have more than just 2 provisions in battlement with the Senate parliamentarian. The Senate parliamentarian is a government official who looks at the recon legislation and determines what provisions cannot go by recon and have to be removed. 2 were detailed on this channel over last week. They were immigration reform, likely to come out because she said before it can't go by recon. And then paid leave, which is sort of like a 50-50 at the moment. A new report released this morning says that the prescription medication language in there says the following. 20 medications right away cheaper, then 30 by 2028, but they cannot go up more than the rate of inflation per year. And if they do, the pharmaceutical companies will be penalized. Republicans saw that language and said, we're going to bring in the Senate parliamentarian and say, to look at that penalization language. We don't think you can penalize. That's not really where my concern is. My concern is that the GOP also is reportedly saying they're going to really go after a lot of the provisions and ask the parliamentarian whether they cannot go by recon as well. So we're going to see that story. That's why you have to stay with me. Every video, every day is going to change across the board as the provisions go in and go out. Now, here's the great news, is that Bernie Sanders and the senators say, $15,000, get ready, because I got more money for you than that. They're adding a lot of other provisions on the Senate side, and you want them to. And we have Bernie Sanders saying it's a good bill, but with major gaps across the board. When asked, are you adding stuff? And there he says, absolutely. And then we have Ron Wyden says, we're not done till it lands in the Senate. And he says there is a significant amount of work to be done. We have Coons and we have Schumer and also Murphy, all senators saying, get ready for the Senate, because changes will happen. All right, so you get ready with your pen and paper right now, because we're going to go over some more of those incredible provisions that are in this recon. And the provisions start right now. Pre-kindergarten, 1 year, front end check, free. Then the earned income tax credit, 1 more year, back end, essential workers. Child tax credit, front end, 1 more year. Then home health care, likely a covered benefit, not a check. Then the hearing aid, likely a check for that one. We went over the housing just a second ago, and now we're going to go over that Pell Grant, $550 more, and then the $65 per student. What are the 3 provisions that Bernie is likely to add on the Senate side? We know them so far, in addition to the move to put that MSC in there as well. We have the lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, the dental, and the vision. All right, the lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, currently 65. Bernie wants it at 55, and the wonderful Bob Casey feature early in this video for the home health care, he wants it at 60. We'll see if that gets in there. Then, dental and vision, last checks in this recon, but now out. Dental, Bernie went in for 10 years, full coverage, people on Medicare and older. It got reduced down to 3 years. Then it got reduced down to an $850 check. Then it got removed. So watch for Bernie to try to get this back in there. $850 check, good, but not that great because it doesn't cover most procedures. Which brings us then to eyeglasses or vision. Bernie wants an eye exam per year and a pair of frames. Well, an eye exam, let's say Costco, $50. And then a pair of frames, $100. $150, sent out the check 1 time per year. Pretty easy. Which caused a whole war of words in the chat about frames. It started with one viewer yesterday saying her daughter buys her frames and her daughter pays $450 for some frames and that Medicare should pay for that. No, Medicare is not going to pay $450 a frame, and this is not the Fendi channel. This is not the House of Gucci, and I'm not Lady Gaga. Because guess what? $450 frames, we are not going to Paris or Champs-Elysees to buy frames. Now, there was a whole discussion about this in the live chat yesterday with people saying, well, I have a very complicated prescription, and the pharmacist said, come in and charge me for the eye exam and the frames and a special thing like $700 of glasses, to which someone else said, you're getting ripped off. So let's keep the eye wars at a minimum on this channel. Needless to say, there's that owl in that commercial that can get you cheaper glasses, and we're not shopping for $450 frames on this channel. So there we go. Let's go to the provisions that need some modification. Child tax credit. I showed $60,000 or less per year. The housing aid, I showed more. I showed $175, and I showed the in-home health care a little bit more, $200 billion. Wow. My commentary in a second coming up. Don't miss it. It is a tough love new commentary. You don't want to miss it. It's coming up in just a second. But first, student loan debt forgiveness. President can do it. He's offered it. It would go by executive order. $10,000 across the board. Democrats should take it. It's the holidays. Take it. Why are you not taking it? It's not to close it out, just for now. He forgave student loan debts for people when people became disabled after graduation. He forgave student loan debts for people who went to work in the nonprofit sector and then the public sector after graduation. They should take this one as well. Fifth stimulus. This is very, very important. Fifth stimulus. COLA, your benefits are going up 5.9% next year. And that is for all beneficiaries. But what after that? That's why you need fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus fixes a pervasive problem, which is COLA is junk and has been junk for decades. And while everything went up in prices far before this pandemic, COLA didn't. COLA was flat. So your benefits were left behind. Your benefits should have been stepping up for the last 10 years. They weren't. And then the pandemic hit. They should step up more. They didn't. Then we have inflation hitting. And now you're getting 5.9%. It's just a little bit of the situation. That's why they need fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus come in and raise you up one more time. Then apply a new benchmark. Inflation based upon December 2022. What's important to understand is that once you step up, you never step down. So that would be 3 steps up in 1 year, and you wouldn't be done there. If inflation is 2% in 2 years from now, you'd step up again. They'll remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty. And love is going to win, and you'll be able to get married and no longer fear loss of benefits. Finally, if you haven't become a member, you need to become a member. The newsletter comes to members, and the membership link is under this video. Become a member and subscribe right this moment. By becoming a member, you get the newsletter that details all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus, so you can get that sums of money, on average about $45,000 across all these incredible programs. And that newsletter comes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system and the Lalate alert system, which tees me up beautifully for my commentary to wrap it today. A very different commentary, and the commentary is why you saw a slight difference in today's recording. The commentary comes as I had seen some comments in recent days where people said they need to get the fourth stimulus done right away into law because I can't pay my rent. I can't pay my utility bills. I can't pay the mortgage, or I can't put food on the table. All that caused a big red alarm and my need to do tough love. I've done tough love before on this channel, but I'm doing a little bit more for the first time in many, many months today. Tough love means you need to refocus. Something's wrong here. Maybe it's me, maybe it's the recording, or maybe it's you. What the tough love moment is you should not be looking into the future to pay for rent, utilities, mortgage, food under fourth stimulus when it's available under third stimulus. That money is available right now. What's important to understand is that if you need help with your rent, your mortgage, any of your utility bills, any of your food, your clothing, small appliances, or small nominal home repairs like a broken window, that is all covered under third stimulus or the 5 nonprofits featured for the members of this channel in the newsletter. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charity Salvation, and St. Vincent de Paul. When I came on the scene, after covering from EIDL and PPP and PUA, I came into the scene in this subject matter in spring of last year. I said, wait a second, there's a problem. People have become financially dependent upon the dates of the HEROES Act, Nancy Pelosi's 2020 bill coming out of the House. You can't be financially dependent upon one body of legislation. And guess what? It never became law. It never became law, that HEROES Act. It was thrown in the garbage by Mitch McConnell. So in December 2020, I said, we have an issue. I got to get you money. And I got viewers, rent, utilities, food a year ago this month. And it helped pay their bills through the holidays. But at the same time, I said, you know what? I'm starting to see pre-releases, private information about what is going to be proposed for third stimulus in 2021. I want you to get this money for rent, utilities, mortgage, and internet and things like that right now in December 2020, because it's going to come back on a third stimulus. And when it does, you're going to have learned the skill set. I talked a lot about skill set at the time. I said, you want to get this money now because when it becomes law under third stimulus, you will know how to get it and pounce, hawk, hawk, as a purple hawk. That's what became Purple Hawks. When third stimulus rolled out, people cleaned up. They got an average $45,000. Many viewers started weeks with zero and ended weeks with $80,000. And that should be you. If you got nothing from this channel this week, you need to. If you got not a penny from this channel this week, you need to get the money. I had a sense that people were not getting third stimulus. And the way I would determine that was reaching out to one of the volunteers. Volunteers generally would get about 16 requests per day for help. So I reached out to one volunteer. I said, how many requests for help did you get today? I haven't gotten a request for 3 days. Warning signal, red alarm, red alert. People in chats saying I need help with rent, and the volunteers not getting a single person asking for help. It means that people forgot that third stimulus was around, or got third stimulus and then think they can get it again, or just found this channel, never heard about third stimulus. Third stimulus is paying. If you got it before, you can get it again. If you haven't gotten it, you can get it now. And you do not have to be behind on the rent. You do not have to have suffered COVID. You don't have to have children. None of these false pretenses are an issue. What's important to know is that Johnny's example is so important. Johnny was a viewer of this channel who a few weeks ago started with 2 other viewers and started the week with $0. By the middle of the week, all 3 of them had gotten $45,000. By the weekend, Johnny had gotten $80,000 of money from third stimulus. He got it from 7 sources. Now, 7 is not how many calls he made. Because trust me, he had to have called at least 15 places to get the money. 15 places. He did not call one place and got a no answer and ended the discussion. You need to make phone calls. You need to make phone calls. I know you can advocate with Sanders, Schumer, Kasich, Coons, and Warren. You can certainly make phone calls to get 7 items funded like Johnny did. It's important to understand that I had one person in the live chat 2 days ago saying, I reached out in Pennsylvania, applied, and I haven't heard back, so I don't know what to do. Well, either not listen to the video or I'm not making the message clear. You can't be calling one place and calling and calling it a day. You need to get rent from multiple places. You need to get multiple applications on file. You qualify for the rent. Republican states, not suffer COVID, not behind on the rent, senior, SSI, SSDI, you qualify for these things. You need to go get it right away. It's available now. It won't be available indefinitely, but you need to get that money right now. There is an importance, which is 3 messages. 1, don't be financially dependent upon the day in which the 4th stimulus is voted upon. Get the money under 3rd stimulus that cleans out all those bills in the house as much as you can get. Number 2, cash checks. We're all about cashing checks. I love Margaret. Margaret jumps into the private messages on Instagram every few days and say, hey, I got another $200 paid for by this utility. I love it. That all adds up. She's getting $200 here one day and a week later she gets $500 there. I love Mark. He comes back, he gets another $3,000 every week or 2. You need to keep on getting these sums of money. Dreamweaver got money for rent before, then got another round of money. Brother Joshua, the same thing. They keep on getting additional sums of money. You need to do that as well. I had one viewer send me a beautiful message on Instagram yesterday. He said, you know what? I had read somewhere there was nothing for 3rd stimulus. It was all gone. I heard your video. It got me inspired. It got me motivated. I made the phone call and I got a couple $1,000s. You can't imagine how it changed my life. That couple $1,000s changed her life. Cashing checks, not being financial dependent upon when bodies of legislation falls, and not being dependent upon one instrument and one item only. That is an ingredient for trouble. Tough love moment. 3rd stimulus is paying $45,000 across all these incredible clusters of checks. Why would you not get it? I called one place. They said I don't qualify. Good. You are not listening to the video. You need to do more than make one phone call. One phone call shows a level of not making the effort to get the money. People are getting $80,000 by applying for rent and getting rent from 2 or 3 places. You need to make the phone call. Number 2, saying that you only want one item under 4th stimulus. That is just really a bad ingredient for trouble. You want to learn about everything under 4th stimulus and get as much money. Because in a given day, you have a lot of bills in the household. And the most bills you can get paid, the better it is. You don't want to look at only one bill and only one bill. You want to get as many of them as paid for across the board. The great news, fourth stimulus is going to become law. The great news, fourth stimulus is going to pay you on average about $15,000. The even better news is that third stimulus has a lot of money still in its liquidity and is still paying viewers and has a payment out of about $45,000 across the board for the viewers of this channel. If you've gotten money from second or third, you're going to learn how to get it on the fourth. If you haven't gotten from third, get it today and you'll be ready for fourth. And with that, I'll be ready to see you at noontime at 11 a.m. And I hope this tough love moment helped you as well. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Join me this afternoon with new shows. And we have 1 o'clock afternoons LA, 3 o'clock afternoons LA, 5 o'clock evenings, and then we have our triple header of evenings, countdown, and stream stimulus, 5, 6, and 7 o'clock tonight. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and stay with Lalate for more.